Welcome to part 11 of my guide to starting out in GTA. And really, we're not starting out anymore. We're getting onto the higher level stuff. You've got your money sorted out by now. You've got your office. You've got warehouses to stock crates that you can collect. You've got a bunker. You've got CEO businesses. So you're making money. You're making money any way you want to. You've also hopefully got by now a nightclub. So that's generating passive income for you all the time that you're playing. The next thing I recommend you buy, and there are 4 or 5 things you can still buy which are quite expensive, but the next thing I recommend you buy is the hangar. And the hangar does 2 main things for you. It provides you with a place to store helicopters and aircraft, and that means you can have personal helicopters and aircraft. Up until this point, you can use a Buzzard if you've got one as a CEO, or you can call one in from Pegasus, but you can't have your own one, you can't store one. Well, if you buy a hangar, you can store one, and in fact, I think if I look out the window, you'll just see the top of my one over there. It's not the most used of the helicopters I use as a personal aircraft. Nevertheless, it costs you nothing to put one in there, so once you own a hangar, you call one in, you call a Buzzard in from Pegasus or whatever other aircraft you want to store, and you go and collect it, and you fly it to your hangar and land it by the hangar, and that makes it your personal aircraft. You still can call one in from Pegasus after that, but the one you originally got, that's now your personal aircraft. So to buy a hangar, you go onto your phone, on the internet, and you're looking at foreclosures, Maze Bank foreclosures, and specifically hangars. There are 2 main locations for hangars. There's down here at Los Santos International Airport. There are 2 different choices there, and 1.2 million, 1.525, or, and more usefully, most people agree, there are 3 choices up here at Fort Zancudo. This is a military airbase, but if you buy a hangar inside the airbase, you get access to the airbase without being chased off. They're more expensive, so 3.25 million. This one on the end I think is the most expensive. 2.65, not the most expensive. And there's one that I already own, and I forget exactly how much that is, but it's around the 2.5 million mark to have a hangar at the airbase. It doesn't really matter which one of these 3 you choose. The difference between this one and this one is very, very small. Really does make a lot of difference. So I went for the cheapest within Fort Zancudo with this my main character, and I haven't had any particular reason to move it. Once you own a hangar, or as you buy it, but once you own it also, you can upgrade various things if you want to. So I've added a living room here so I can sit and watch TV just like in my apartment. I forget what's in this room. I think it's just a storage room. Yep, just a storage room in there. Up the stairs over this side is a bedroom, so I can basically spawn my character in the hangar when I switch on in the morning or whenever I start playing. And of course, with that also comes a wardrobe. I think it's saying, yeah, wardrobe there to change clothes. Being a little bit twitchy at the moment. I have to be right in the middle. Okay, and just works like just like your wardrobe any other place you've got. So you can change your clothes, and you can have 20 different outfit slots, so you can set up 20 preset outfits and then choose them from your fast menu if you want to change. Sometimes it's fun to kind of put on a coat when it's raining or whatever. Very useful thing to have is a scuba diving suit if you're going to go out to sea. Anyway, there's your hangar, and I have a number of aircraft stored here. You don't need all these aircraft. Some are much more useful than others. What I will tell you about storing aircraft is it matters what order you put them in. So I initially thought, I'll put the most used ones near the front of the hangar, and that'll make them convenient to get to. Actually, it isn't that way round. The most useful ones I've got are in the extra storage, you can store a certain number of helicopters and aircraft out here on the hangar floor. But there's also further aircraft stored away, I guess underground, somewhere else. And if I access the vehicle access, just like in a garage, access the vehicle access menu, there's aircraft in storage, and I've got the Sea Sparrow, Cargo Bob, a bunch of different things. None of those are visible here on the hangar floor. And planes and helicopters come in small, medium and large size. Or the ones on the floor, there's a Buzzard, there's a small flying jet there, the Akula, Hunter, various other ones here. You can only fit so many on the floor, but I think you can fit a total of 20 aircraft. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, plus 1, 2, 3, yep, 12 there. Whether you get more on the floor or more in storage, you're limited to a total of 20 aircraft that you can store. And that's kind of important because many aircraft you can upgrade things on, some you can't upgrade things on, some are more useful than others. So for example, this jet really shouldn't have bothered storing it. It only has color options. There's nothing else you can do to it. You can't improve the engines. It doesn't have weapons. So there's no real need to store this. When I ever want to fly it, I could just call one in from Pegasus and go and pick it up. On the other hand, these big helicopters like that one, the jets there, those military jets, this helicopter here, these all have multiple features for handling, weapons, engine speed and so forth. If you reach your limit of 20 and you try and store another aircraft, you will have to remove one of the ones you've got to put the new one in. You can do that, but the one you remove, if you remove one that's got all the upgrades, you're going to lose those upgrades and have to pay for them again. So keep the ones that have upgrades in your hangar. The ones that you don't need upgrades on, like that little jet over there, don't bother with putting them in your hangar unless you've got lots of spare space. Or if you're going to add a new aircraft to your hangar, those are the ones you remove because they're the ones that don't cost you anything. You can just call in another one for Pegasus, fly it in and store it in your hangar if you need to. So you've got storage for aircraft, and that means you can now have personal aircraft. Personal aircraft means when you bring up your quick menu and you go to your vehicles, request personal vehicle. At the moment it's saying I'm too far from road. That's for cars, but I can also call in aircraft. Now I can't call them in from within the hangar, but if I was out on the street I could call them in. They don't appear right next to you, they often appear a little ways away. Knowing where they're going to spawn is very useful because you can even start heading out to them before they arrive. And I have these mostly in the order I think they would be useful. So I have my Sea Sparrow, followed by the Buzzard. I tend to use Buzzard as CEO, I don't tend to call it in when it's my personal aircraft. And Cargo Bob is probably the other helicopter that's very, very useful. So just be aware the order you store things in is important, but the Sea Sparrow, I'll show you that one later on, isn't even out on the floor, but it's the first one that comes up because it's the first one in storage in the underground storage area. Now, the other thing you get with a hangar is a business. This is an active business like cargo crates. And you can register for this one either as a CEO or as an MC, but you have to register as one or the other in order to use the business. So I'm going to go with CEO because I have nobody with me. Now, this is not the most user-friendly business or the most effective business. It's kind of fun. The missions are different, but they can be difficult, they can be lengthy. This is one of those things you do because you enjoy doing it, not because it's going to make you money very fast. If you do it with a bunch of friends, then for every person in your CEO or MC business, you will get one crate that you can collect. But as I'm doing it on my own, I will only get one crate if I did a mission right now. I'm not going to do one right now, but I'll show you one later on. So when you source, and this is showing my overview, what have I got in stock? I've got mostly arts and antiques and one jewelry, I think, just one jewelry. When I source, you source by type. If you're going to be selling a lot, you want to go with narcotics, chemicals, or medical supplies. If you're going to be selling individually, so you're doing this as a one-person business, then arts and antiques, jewelry and gemstones, or tobacco, you want to stick with one or two types. And when you do these individually, collect 10 crates, sell 10 crates. You get a bonus at 10, but you don't get another bonus until later on. 10 might give you 2 delivery vehicles, normally only gives you 1. Going higher numbers will give you multiple delivery vehicles, and that can be a real pain if you're trying it on your own. You're not going to get it done. So if you're going to fill the entire warehouse with, say, chemicals, you'll get a nice big bonus if you get 50 sold at once, but you'll need friends to help you. You can collect a total of 50 of all the types. but it's worth trying to focus on one or two types. If I were, say, doing with a group and they were going to fill up my warehouse with me, I'd probably do narcotics and then chemicals, back to narcotics, back to chemicals. Every time you deliver, there's a cooldown for that type. You can go straight to another type. So you can have a lot of fun with some friends running out there, grabbing as much as you can. The nice thing with this is that it doesn't cost you anything to do the source mission. And I will come on to do a source mission. I think I'll do that one right now, but I'll do it as a separate video. So just be aware, with the hangar, what have you got? You've got a business, you've got potential living accommodation, somewhere you can go AFK watching TV, and you've got storage for the aircraft. And really the most important part of this is storage for the aircraft. Okay, so I'm going to pause this one, and then I'm going to do a quick source mission for a free trade shipping air crate.